Hey, what's up, golfers and the high school golf community here in Michigan? Welcome to this week's update in our Michigan High School Boys Golfer of the Year contest. This award is made possible because of the great people with Tour Edge Golf. See for yourself why over 150 PGA Tour players have chosen to play Tour Edge, the pound-for-pound leader in golf club innovation and performance. Find out more at touredge.com. My name's Lorne. All season long, we are very fortunate to have Michigan Golf Live's executive producer and host, Bill Hobson. Bill, we are recording this segment on Thursday, May 5th, and I think we can officially say this race is going to start heating up, literally. The forecast, for the most part, moving forward, see us hit the 60s, the 70s, even the 80s, if you can believe it. At times, late next week, high school golfers from here on out should be able to play at a consistent rate on ready-to-go courses. The state finals are really only a little over a month from now, if you can believe it, but there will be a lot of golf played between now and then.
It's about time, right? We've got these poor guys who have been out there in 4 layers of clothing with ski caps and mittens on. In fact, just yesterday I was talking to a player from the northern part of the state who told me that his school had had only one match to this point in the season. And so it's nearly impossible to figure out who's playing well and who's going to have their best stuff as we get closer and closer to the end of the season. So, yeah, let's hope the temperatures begin. Let's not get too greedy. Let's have them start with at least a 6, and then we can move up from there.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll tell you one thing that has allowed us to really start to keep track, and I just discovered, I shared it with you, is this MHSA golf app, which is outstanding, and it literally is breaking down everything. It's giving us performances, it's ranking players, it's showing us how many rounds they're doing, it's comparing this. It's really just outstanding. So I want to give all props to I Wanna Maker, I believe is the app, and everything that they've done, which is going to allow us to really monitor what's happening from here on out and know the events that we need to go cover and film for state champs. So let's get into who we're talking about this week. We did get out to an event at Warwick Hills, obviously a famous golf course in Grand Blanc for their invitational, and they've got a golfer, a junior, who is on our list, who is one of the best in the state right now. His name is Robert Burns, fresh off shooting a meet best 68 at the invitational at Warwick Hills on Monday, and the weather conditions were not ideal.
No, they haven't been for anybody. And you sent me a few highlights of young Mr. Burns, and I'll tell you something. This young man has a really good feel for one part of the game that golfers don't spend enough time practicing, and that is putting.
Right.
This kid went out and went low in some rather adverse conditions, and the highlights that you sent, he was making bombs. I mean, 15-footers for birdie, and then I saw, I think, a 40-footer across where even the competitors he was playing with came and gave him a little fist bump afterwards. And a hot putter can cure an awful lot of ills in the world of golf. And at Warwick, he had a chance to really get that thing blazing. And when you do that, you can go low there. If you hit fairways and greens, you can play really well at Warwick if your putter's cooperating.
Yeah, and we did have some of our other competitors, some watch list guys were in that meet itself, so we got some other video of guys, which is good that we can talk about in the future, and of course we're going to plan to get to some more events that have our guys. Flint Powers took 3rd overall as a team at that event. They're ranked 15th overall in the state right now, and that's across all divisions. Burns is currently ranked 5th individually overall in the state and has 12 rounds of golf under his belt. So good on him, and we're going to see how he progresses throughout the season. One thing that this app has really allowed us and allowed me to go ahead and look at where the guys are at currently right now, and this race is going to be a fluid race, so we could have guys absolutely play their way back into the top 10, but we're going to make some changes. So a couple of guys are going to drop off. Matt Baer from Brother Ice, even though he has nearly 10,000 votes, which is fantastic, I want to see him play his way back in. Currently, he's ranked about 142nd event in the state right now. Just about 6 rounds of golf, and he wasn't even at the event on Monday that had the Panini brothers and others participating. So he's going to be put on the watch list. Sam Havey from Williamston for now is going to come off. He didn't have a lot of votes, but he's just ranked about 45th in the state right now, just 4 rounds completed. So I think once he gets his game going, and again, it very well could have been weather and things of that nature. But those 2 are going to come off. We have 2 guys going in, and we're going to talk more in depth about these guys later. But I just want to mention senior Bryce Wheeler from Richland Gull Lake. He was a guy who I believe we had in our Just Missed the Cut ranking. He's currently ranked number 1, Bill. He's 13 rounds of golf played so far. He was just at a Westbourne event at Oakland University, shot a 68 there. Team took 3rd. A lot of the rankings now, what they show is they'll show how they did on 9 holes at a particular event. So that's how they break it down. So they go, he was first in this 9 and maybe 3rd or whatever on the back 9. But he's been first after 9 holes and 7 events. His team's ranked 4th in the state. So this guy's tearing it up.
Yeah, and an awful lot of matches for high schools are 9-hole matches. It's really tough to come out of the gate and be on fire right from the start. You don't get a chance to make the turn and make up for it on the back. You've got to be ready to go. So whether it's a 9-hole match, which most of them are, or maybe you get an 18-hole invitational, you got to make the most out of the opportunities. And I am glad that you're tweaking the list because everybody out here, everybody watching us is accustomed to rankings changing, whether it's your favorite college football team or whatever it is. You don't just get in the top 10 and stay there no matter what. And you said right from the very outset, Lorne, that you're going to have to earn your spot in this list. This is a pretty big deal, this high school golfer of the year. And so don't be too offended, young guys and parents, if you drop off the list. Here's the beauty of golf. The beauty of golf is you can't blame the coach, you can't blame the umpires. You just got to go play better.
That's it, and use it as motivation. So one other guy that we've got going in is the senior Beau Brewer from Ann Arbor Green Hills. I've really liked to see a lot of near the top of the rankings, a lot of seniors really stepping up this year, and we like to see that, those guys who know how to do it on a consistent basis. He's ranked the number 2 player in the state after 10 rounds. So those 2 are going to go in. I'm going to get the page updated here over the next several days so that people can start voting on those gentlemen. Our watch list is now going to drop down to just 10 guys. We had about 10 on the watch list and another 5 on our Miss the Cut just as the beginning of the season got going. We're going to break it down to 10. I've got that list already created so people can see who are some of the ones that we're thinking about putting in. So again, there are going to be changes. And again, if you have questions or comments, things you want to email regarding this race, the email address is simple, idea@statechampsnetwork.com. All right, Bill, before we let you go, I want you to take a moment to comment on really an issue in high school golf that hopefully can be addressed someday, and I know that you've got some great thoughts on it, and it basically is regarding PJ Maybank and why he is not golfing this season. For those who don't know, PJ is a defending Mr. Golf out of Sheboygan who is not playing high school golf this season, and it seems that for some of these high-profile players, it's becoming a bigger issue as time goes on. So, Bill, why don't you talk about, I think you have a way to figure this out, right?
Yeah, it's really pretty simple. And so the situation is this, and it's not just PJ, but it's all of the, I guess you would say the elite players, those who plan to and dream of going on to play in college and perhaps beyond. In PJ's case, that is certainly a possibility for him. And here he is up in Sheboygan. Not exactly the time of year you want to be a high school golfer up there, but that's not really the main issue. The issue is right now the Michigan High School Athletic Association restricts the number of events a golfer can enter outside of their high school schedule. And that number is just set at 2. And when you're a top player and you're trying to showcase your skills on some of the junior tours, well, that's a non-starter. And so PJ, I talked with him yesterday, he and his mom, and they're both really kind people, and they had nothing ill to say about anything. But obviously you want the very best for your student, for your athlete, for your child. So PJ is currently enrolled online in Sheboygan He's taking classes through his school back where he lives, but he's traveling around quite a bit to play golf and not being confined by the MHSAA's current restrictions on that. And again, it's something that doesn't apply to very many golfers, but there are probably a half dozen to a dozen in the state who would be a key factor for their high school teams if they were allowed to also take part in the other events. And the strange part about it is not every sport has the same restrictions. So my plea to our friends in Lansing at the MHSAA would be to carefully examine the restrictions in the world of golf. We've already put enough roadblocks in the way season-wise for the boys who play this game. Let's really be careful with how we restrict their involvement in the game, because from my perspective, if a young man like PJ says, I really want to be a part of my high school team, I love these guys, they're my friends, they're my classmates, but I can't do it because of these restrictions, I think that's backwards. I think we have an easy solution to it, and that is to expand the number of tournaments you can play outside to 10, and that would let these guys go and play where they want to, where they need to keep their skills sharp, and also be part of their high school teams.
So in a perfect world, if we could, nail it down, we would say 10 events that are non-high school related, and then, of course, in the best of times, we would have both boys and the girls playing in the fall.
We would, when they're able to play all summer long, keep their games sharp, never have to worry about the bundling up and playing in high school hallways and classrooms, and they would go right from their practice rounds in the summer into the season in the early fall, be done by early October before we deal with weather on that end, and it's a win-win. There's no problem with course access in that setting, but that's not the current reality, but one can hope.
That was going to be my last point is, are there enough golf courses to go around to handle both the boys and the girls at the same time?
Yeah, because by the time you get to Labor Day, all the leagues are done. Most all of the outings are done. The competition for the real estate of the golf courses is done. Unlike the spring, where the boys are now competing against outings, against spring leagues, and against daylight. It's just hard to get out there. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunity to do that. Hold the matches together. Concurrent seasons are the way to go for golf.
All right, well, let's roll up our sleeves and see if we can make some progress. I appreciate that, Bill. For Bill Hobson, I'm Lorne Plant. That's it for this week's update in our State Champs Michigan High School Boys Golfer of the Year race, presented by Tour Edge.